Hello, my name is Jimmy and welcome to the 2020 Infiniti Q50S Signature Edition. This, actually is a pretty competent sports sedan. So let's see just how sporty it is by quick acceleration test. Left foot on brake, right foot on throttle, and let's launch it. Okay. That's pretty quick. Even though this is only the base Q50 engine, which means it has 300 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, 60 miles per hour comes in at 5 seconds. That's plenty quick for this platform. And if you want something a little bit faster, you can opt for the 400 model. The red sport model gives you 400 horsepower, accelerating to 60 in 4.5 seconds. However, that's only what Infiniti gives you. This engine is very, very potent. And because of that, it's capable of making a lot more power. There's a lot of tuning companies out there. JB4, for example, they make tunes for this car to give you 100 more horsepower from a little bit of add-ons. And that, is amazing. Let me tell you a little bit more about this specific Q50 though. This is the signature model. In Canada, the signature model is kind of the middle child. It's before the sport models and just one up from base. In the US, it seems that you guys had the signature model before, but no longer have that as an available option. It's kind of in between the Luxe model and the Sensory model. However, it's kind of a split the difference kind of thing. In any case, the signature model here in Canada, it actually is quite well equipped. There's a lot of good things about it that I personally do like. So let me run down what it actually looks like. Starting from the outside, the front end of the Q50 is absolutely beautiful. On this signature model, I do have a blacked out front grille, which, just make things a little bit more sporty. We also have the sportier front end, which gives me a more aggressive front bumper. On the side, 19-inch wheels. And on the back, a little spoiler on the top and a little bit of a diffuser and 2 very nice exhaust tips on the bottom. It's a very, very good looking model. All Q50s along every single range. They're magnificent because they're just beautiful to look at. The curves and the shape in the sheet metal. It looks more concept car-like than, for example, the Lexus IS, which is kind of bland and boring compared to this. Personally, I'm a big fan. For the signature model, like I said, you do have different front and rear bumper taken from the sport model, but there's also an illuminated front emblem. It actually looks quite cool, and driving around at night, everyone can see that you drive an Infiniti. And at night, when you're walking up towards a vehicle, you can press the unlock button on the remote, and there's actually underglow. A little bit illumination on the side of the vehicle just to, make it easier for you to get in and out, to make sure you're not stepping into puddles. The only thing is, whereas some other manufacturers, it's proximity, this isn't. You have to press the unlock in order for it to, light up. And if you're leaving the key in your pocket like you normally would, it's only when you put your hand behind the door handle, and that's when it actually lights up. And by that time, it's probably a little too late. But as I said, the overall exterior of the Q50, it's absolutely beautiful. It just has the right proportions. I mean, if you look back to the G35 and the G37s, the predecessors of the Q50, it's always been a very good-looking sports sedan. The only thing that's a downfall in its shape is, the overall size, because the trunk space is actually quite small. At only 13 cubic feet, it is smaller than, most of its competitors. So you'll be struggling to fit everything in here. However, 13 cubic feet for a sedan isn't horrible. Moving to the back seats are relatively comfortable. There's enough headroom in here, and legroom is decent. It's pretty comfortable, I would say. You have air conditioning vents, however, there's no USB ports, which some manufacturers do have. As for the front seats, these are very comfortable. There is adjustable lumbar support, a 2-way adjustable lumbar support. Unfortunately, no 4-way adjustments here. There's a manually adjustable thigh cushion, and, the seats themselves is very plush and soft. However, you can inflate the bolsters to have a little bit more of that snugger, sportier experience, which I do like. In front of the driver, pretty typical Infiniti dashboard here. This really hasn't been changed since its launch back in 2013. The dials are, easily legible. There's analog tach and analog speedometer on the right, and a little bit of a digital screen in center. Compared to some other automakers, this definitely is outdated, but for most people, this is actually preferred because it's easily legible. While legible, this dual tier screen system, in theory, this works great. You got a screen for your maps, and then the other can be for your radio control or climate control. But in practice, well, it's just a little bit cumbersome. The top screen, it is touchscreen. You can use the touchscreen itself, or you can use the dial that's on the center console or the steering wheel. But it's just not as easy to control. You do have to reach for the screen itself. It's just a little bit further away. And just the controls, they're just a little bit more complicated than I would like. There are easier to use systems out there, and I kind of wish this was a little bit better. However, if you're an owner of the vehicle, this honestly isn't too bad. You're going to get used to it over time. It just takes a little bit of time to, well, really get used to the overall menu system itself. What's kind of funny is the screen on the bottom, it reminds me of the 3rd gen TL. It's just very similar in its shape, and the buttons flanked off to the side. In any case, let's go for a drive, because driving the Q50, well, that's one of the best parts about it. As said, for 2020, there are only 2 engine options, a 300 horsepower or a 400 horsepower option. Gone is the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo. For 2020, just can't get that anymore, which is kind of weird because most manufacturers these days are going towards a more fuel-efficient route, and Infiniti decides to axe the 2-liter itself. But nevertheless, this engine itself, well, it's just amazing. This VR30DDTT is a very, very good engine. It's actually awarded one of the 10 best engines, and it's very easy to see why. There's plenty of power, there's plenty of torque whenever you need. Just step on the throttle. Takes a second to downshift, but it goes. And when it does go, well, it makes an amazing exhaust note. The engine itself is a little muted because it is primarily a luxury vehicle. So it's not as raw, it's not as loud as, well, an AMG product or a BMW M product would be. And that's completely fine because this is not an M Sport or AMG competitor. This is just, well, the standard, like 330 or the C300 competitor. In terms of handling, well, the Q50 does pretty well in that department as well. The engine sends most of its power to the rear wheels. Although every single vehicle in Canada is sold with all-wheel drive, most of the power is still sent rearwards for that, well, sportier handling feel. And you definitely feel it. Steering feel itself is pretty good. It's a little light in terms of just the overall feel, but it's very direct. It's easy to place a vehicle in a corner and just aim for that apex, if that's something that you're doing on everyday streets. In terms of fuel efficiency, it's not bad. It's 19 miles per gallon in the city, 27 on the highway. That makes 22 combined. If you're in Canada like me, that's 12.5 in the city, 8.7 on the highway, and 10.8 combined. However, with 300 horsepower on tap and a heavier right foot, I've been struggling to get anywhere near those numbers. Currently, I'm averaging 17 liters per 100 kilometers. But I can honestly say I'm enjoying this car the way that it's designed. Alright, let me pull over here and go over the entire vehicle. The 2020 Infiniti Q50. Is this something that's worth considering? Absolutely. This is a great compact sports sedan. It's priced competitively when we're comparing to its Japanese competitors like the Lexus IS as well as the Acura TLX. But it's less than the German rivals like the BMW 3 Series and the Mercedes C-Class. So, in terms of pricing, it's not bad. Speaking of pricing, for this model, as tested, is 50,000 Canadian dollars because there isn't an equivalent US model. Well, I can't give you a US dollar pricing. However, the Q50 Lux, that's 43,700, and in the Q50 Sensory, that's 49,600. So you can kind of split it in the middle, say 46,000 US is kind of what this is equivalent to. And with that, you get quite a bit for your money. The overall interior, it's absolutely beautiful. You got soft touch materials everywhere. It's a nice place to be in inside, and when you're outside looking at it, it's absolutely beautiful from the outside as well. It's, well, just That's a very good match. And Infiniti gives you a lot of safety features as well. Depending on model, it's a little different. This has the Pro Assist features, which gives you collision mitigation braking, blind spot warning, backup collision intervention, and a 360 camera. However, you can opt for the higher end models, which gives you the Proactive. And with the Proactive, that's where you get the radar guided cruise control, lane keep assist as well. Overall, the Q50 is a very, very good vehicle. It's a bit understated compared to some other manufacturers that's out there. For example, when you think of a sports compact sedan, most people think of the 3 Series. Of course, there are others out there, the Lexus IS, the Genesis G70, but this, it kind of slots in the middle in terms of pricing, features, and, well, just everything that you can get. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more good looking on the outside as well as in, you don't mind a little bit more of that fussy infotainment, the Q50 is definitely one to pick. In any case, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to see more, stay subscribed, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day, and take care.